I've had some pretty amazing stories over the last 10 years. As I mentioned, I was working for the county for over 17 years. And when I was approached to do some classes for the people who are, working through this pandemic, or maybe you're one of the people who isn't working, I'm going to help today by talking to you a little bit about boosting immune function. So we're going to explore the daily habits that you can do to boost immune function. And I'm going to share some simple daily routines and some of my favorite essential oils for prevention and protection. But first, let's start with a brief overview of exactly what's an essential oil and what are its benefits. So if you leave here today with some simple steps that you can take to feel confident in any storm, to boost the army of soldiers that fight the fight for you, would you find that valuable? Those are the intentions of this class. So what is an essential oil? So an essential oil is distilled from plants. It's made from the leaves, the bark, the stems, the roots. In the case of citrus fruits, it's made from the rind and they're cold pressed. They're naturally occurring, volatile aromatic compounds. It's nature's chemistry, right? And like the one thing I want you to take away about what is an essential oil is it's a message carrying molecule, right? It's chemistry. Right? When you distill the essential oil and separate it from the plant material, what you're left is aromatic chemistry. And that essential oil is produced by the plant as part of its defensive and recovery mechanisms, as part of its communication. It helps protect it from environmental threats. It helps it recover from microbial or fungal attacks. And it helps to attract or repel pests, right? Attract pollinators, repel pests. And so these are the same three things that when we use an essential oil, that it does for us. It helps protect us from environmental threats. It helps improve internal communications, right? Our cellular communications. And it helps heal or repair damaged cells. So there are some very simple ways that we use essential oils. Right? What's the first thing you notice about an essential oil? It has a smell, right? That's why it's an aromatic compound. We breathe it in and we use it to cleanse the air, open our airways, and sometimes affect our mood, right? When we diffuse it, we let the entire room reap the benefits of that oil. So it's extremely cost effective. I love diffusing essential oils simply by putting some on my hand and breathing them in. Topically, it's well-founded, long history, right? We apply essential oils to the skin for targeted support. So, we're going to apply it on the spot where we're having some issues. So if you're having pain in your neck, you're going to apply the oil right there. If you have an upset stomach, you're going to apply it on your abdomen. If you have, a bug bite or a bee sting or something like that, you can put it right on top of that to help take that sting away. We also can take them internally, right? We put them in our water. We can put them in a veggie cap if you don't like the taste, or you can just drop a couple drops under your tongue. Now, not all essential oils are created equal. So whatever oil you're using, please make sure that it's rated by the FDA for internal use, right? Even if you're not taking it internally, whether you apply it topically or you're breathing it in, it's going into your body. So no matter which way you choose to use it, it will have an effect on your body. So one of the most amazing things is when you're using a certified pure therapeutic grade essential oil, they're extremely fast. So how fast are they? Well, in 22 seconds, they find the chemistry in your brain. In 2 minutes, they find it in your blood. And in 22 minutes, it's in every single cell of your body, right? And so they do work incredibly fast. And here's a quick example, right? So here's a blood sample that was taken from a man. And if you notice, you know, the cells are kind of clumped together, they're misshapen, and this is actually a live dark field microscopy. And so you could actually see the cells kind of moving sluggishly and kind of, you know, they're not really very active. And they've applied an essential oil to the bottom of this person's foot, and then 30 seconds later took another blood sample. And this is what it looked like in 30 seconds, right? Round, perfect cells, and they move and they were active, and you know, they're not clumped. On the left, right, this is what free radical damage does to your cells, right? This is what causes inflammation. And just in 30 seconds, look how amazing the chemistry of an essential oil can quickly change the chemistry of your own body. And so with that as a backdrop, let's talk about immune boosting properties of essential oils. So the first thing that, like, you know, we're aware, right? Our first line of defense is our upper respiratory system and our lungs, right? They actually have something called the type 1 interferon response. And this is what helps decrease the chance of infection, right? Things might get in, but we have pretty good soldiers to actually kill it. And so we don't actually get infected, right? That's all about this response. We have to actually respond. And one of the things that compromises our ability to do that is inflammation, right? And so we want to first look at, well, what are the things I can do to promote a healthy inflammatory response in my body and boost my immune function as a result? So there's lots of different chemistries. I'm a little bit of a science geek, so I'm not going to talk about chemistry for you, but I do want to help you appreciate that when we have healthy cells, we reduce the risk of infection, and we have really good soldiers to fight the fight that needs to be fought. So let's talk a little bit about some of my favorites, right? And so linalool is a particular chemistry. It's called monoterpene alcohol. And it has this, like, don't mess with me attitude, right? And you can find it in many different essential oils. You know, the ones that have the highest concentration of this particular chemistry are lavender, coriander, basil, right? Like, those are things you recognize to be like spice oils, right? But these are really high in linalool, which helps us to promote a healthy inflammatory response in our body, which helps make healthier cells, particularly immune cells. And so how can you use it? Just apply them topically to the bottom of your feet. You could put them in a capsule, or you can add them to a diffuser with maybe your favorite citrus oil to make it smell really nice. We also have the chemistry that's in most of the citrus oils called limonene. And if you look at this picture, limonene is kind of like I can do everything all at once. Right? It's protective, it's supportive, it helps relieve. Like, those are the things. It's gonna help you create that healthy inflammatory response on multiple different levels, right? It just is this do-it-all kind of assistant. And so it's found in almost all of your citrus oils. These are some of my favorites, right? Lemon, lime, wild orange, tangerine. But there are so many different citrus oils. Pick the one that you like the best and put it in your water, right? You could put a couple drops in your water, or you can put it in the diffuser and breathe it in. One of the things I like, most of the citrus oils, right? If you had to kind of associate it, like, they put a lot of citrus in cleaning products, right? Sometimes it's because they want it to smell better, but a lot of times it's because the citrus oil is really good as a toxic cleanser, right? It's a really good surface cleanser. It's a good cleanser inside your body. And so when we take it internally, it's going to clean out what doesn't belong there. And when we breathe it in, whether you put it on your hands and breathe it in, or you have a diffuser, it's actually going to clean out the nostrils and the upper respiratory tract. That same toxic cleansing gift is what it brings when you breathe it in. So I just love citrus oils. And I think the side benefit is they just make you feel happy, right? You peel back the skin of an orange and it sprays, and that smell, right? That's the essential oil, that aroma. And the limonene actually helps your body produce dopamine, which is your happy drug. And so just by using this, you're getting a lot of benefits. You're getting a healthy inflammatory response, you're getting some toxic cleansing, and you're getting a mood uplift. How cool is that? It's like one of my favorites. Another favorite of mine is frankincense. It is an oil that you hear of from the Bible because they've been using it for centuries. It is also the same type of hydrocarbon, right? So it has that do-it-all posture, the same as our citrus oils. But this is one that we apply to the feet every morning, every night. Taking it internally is really good to help, cellular health. And I love putting it in my diffuser, right? Frankincense has a great ability. They call it the king of the oils because it's the director, it's the supervisor, right? He figures out what is the highest priority and then starts directing traffic. And so when I've got something going on, I really want a good director, like managing the process of what my body's doing. And so, frankincense does this. We also have a spice oil, it's called rosemary, right? This particular oil, like in a lot of scientific studies, actually supports that type 1 interferon response. So imagine you're going to go and, fight that fight, and your first line of defense is, that interferon response. Well, I want a soldier that's going to be really good at that particular benefit. And so rosemary, I used to think like, well, that's something I use on my potatoes. But now when you distill that herb into this highly concentrated form, you get healthy digestion, you help, reduce nervous tension, it helps with fatigue, right? When you're tired, you can't fight the fight. So when we're boosting our energy levels, that's a good thing for a healthy immune response. We can apply it to our feet, take it internally, or put it in the diffuser. One of my favorite combinations is rosemary and lime together in the diffuser. Perhaps that's one you might want to try. We also have a protecting blend. It's got 5 different oils blended together: wild orange, clove, cinnamon, eucalyptus, and rosemary. And you'll notice it has that wild orange, right? We talked about the citrus oils and their gifts, and we talked about the rosemary, right? And so eucalyptus, is really good for the airways, right? And the clove and cinnamon are good for digestive health, right? And so there's really good things here all combined together. And so kind of like, one-stop shopping. So what else really can help boost immune function? It's nice that we have, essential oils that are going to promote a healthy inflammatory response and kind of get our cells ready to have more vibrancy, right? But we really have to start at our lifestyle choices. Eating right is probably the biggest thing that you can do to boost your immune function. Why? Well, because 70% of your immune system lies in the walls of your digestive tract. Let me just try to think of that. Almost every brain controlling chemical, right? Your mood and your brain, all of those chemicals that help run the brain are all being produced in the gut. So if your digestive system is off, then for sure, you're going to have immune dysfunction. You might have some mood dysfunction. Maybe you're not thinking clearly. Think of young adults or children who maybe don't have such a great diet, how erratic their moods are and how often they get sick, right? And so, the simplest thing we can do is to start promoting digestive health. And there's lots of things you could do: a good probiotic, digestive enzymes, and just a really good supplement that helps nourish your cells and is bioavailable to the body. That's the key. one of the other things, right, because of this relationship between the digestive system, mood, and immune function, I have to mention that, you know, when our nervous system's engaged, right, we're in a crisis, right? And so there's lots of body chemistry that comes out. Like you have, you know, your adrenaline comes out, cortisol, like all the stress hormones that help you deal with the event are released into your bloodstream so that, you know, your eyesight gets more focused, your breathing changes, your heartbeat changes, because they're getting you ready to like run, like if you have to run away from the saber-toothed tiger. When your nervous system's engaged like that, it doesn't really care about the germ in your lungs or in your belly, right? Like, so it's gonna put all of its resources to the crisis at hand. And some of the normal functions like digestion, immune function, waste elimination, they either slow down incredibly or they stop altogether. And so the first thing we need to do to boost immune function is to get stress under control. And, you know, one of my favorite blends, it's wild orange spearmint with lavender, rosemary, and copaiba. Like, it's just an amazing aroma. And I invite any of you guys to, you know, to hit me up for, at the end of this, I'm going to talk about how you can get some samples of these things and just, you know, breathe it in and feel that shift, right? You're going to get calm in your nervous system, and it's going to boost your immune function at the same time. So what else can we do? So there's some really simple daily habits, right? And so, you know, washing your hands every day, you know, using a protective essential oil in your soap is a good way to do that, right? Putting the citrus oils in your water, right? We also have a trick that we've been doing. It's kind of like an emollient, and you apply it on the inside of your nostrils before you go out, because it provides this protective moisture barrier, and, you know, it'll soothe the skin and boost immune response directly where you want it. We also know that oregano has some pretty good soldiers standing at the door. This is the best way I can put it. Like, when you're dealing with an environmental threat, oregano is probably one of my favorite ways. Like, I don't use oregano every single day, but I'm really glad to have it in my home when I have something going on. And so whether you use it as an essential oil or maybe through a capsule that has oregano in it, either is fine. I know that we don't have a lot of time in a 30-minute workshop, but the one thing I can impress upon you is our success lies in our daily routines. Like, what will you do each and every day to support a beefier immune function, right? Like, what things can you do, right? Whether it's diet and lifestyle choices, using essential oils, being more diligent about washing your hands, right? We're going to walk towards our health or away from it, one step at a time. And so, you know, it's about what will you choose to do today so that you can enjoy that tomorrow, right? And so if you are interested in getting some samples of some of the things that we talked about, I have offered, I'm going to put it in the chat. If you just copy this link, you just tell me your name and email, and, you know, I'd get connected with you and send you some samples. And, you know, just put essential oils in your hands. A bunch, you know, we have a pretty big organization of people who love using essential oils every day right here on Long Island. And we have been making little goodie bags for frontline workers and people like yourselves who, you know, have to go to work, whether, you know, they like it or not, right? Or have been asked to stay home, and maybe that's stressful for you. So we want to put some goodie bags in your hands too. So, you know, copy this and send me an email, or, you know, if you this is kind of like a little form you could fill out, or you could simply send me an email to simply.natural@optimum.net. So what else do we have? So you can connect with me. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I have an Eventbrite site that I do lots of classes, 5, 6 different topics every week. There's a few that we are doing specifically for the Suffolk County employees, right? So tomorrow at 3 o'clock, we're doing something called Declutter Your Life, right? Like, especially if you're quarantined, or, like, life is different right now. Maybe this is a good time to go through some old stuff. We're going to do emotional healing, right? This is a very stressful time, and we're going to give you some tips to help you kind of, weather a life storm. Then on Thursday, we're going to do kind of like a basics. What are the top 10 essential oils? What can they do? And just spotlight some of the favorites that we have. And then we have increasing your energy, right? As we have so much stress every single day, maybe we're not sleeping so well, like, what are the things that we can do to boost our energy naturally? And so I hope that you can join us again.